President-elect Donald Trump continues to be at odds with the U.S. intelligence community over Russia's alleged interference in the U.S. election. Mr. Trump tweeted last night the intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. He went on to quote WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, writing, "The Russians did not give him the info." Assange told Fox News yesterday he was certain Russia wasn't behind the attack.
Meanwhile, sources tell CBS News the intelligence briefing was always scheduled for Friday and it wasn't put off. Earlier, Trump's spokesman confirmed that the president-elect will meet with the director of national intelligence, the FBI, and CIA chiefs on Friday. Joining us now by phone is Frank Chalufo, CBS News security contributor and director of the Cyber and Homeland Security Center at George Washington University. What a mouthful.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
It is a mouthful. Thank you, Rena. Thank you, Brian. Greetings from cold, snowy, and dark Estonia.
Wow.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yes, you are in the Baltics.
I do want to ask you, though, what do you make of Trump trusting Julian Assange over the intelligence community? How do you read that?
You know, I'm genuinely puzzled on this one. While I obviously haven't been privy to all the information here, to quote Mark Twain, whereas history may not repeat itself, it tends to rhyme. And it seems to be pretty clear-cut that Russia was, in fact, behind the hack. So I'm somewhat scratching my head, to be absolutely honest.
The president-elect has said that he has information on the Russian hacking that others do not. In your estimation, your analysis, Frank, do you think he's referring to Julian Assange, who said the Russians didn't give him the info, or is it something else? I mean, if he's not getting daily intelligence briefings, and he said back in early December that he didn't need them, what could this information possibly be?
You know, that could very well be the source that he's citing, but I think there's an important narrative here that hasn't really been told, and that is, if you get the entire U.S. intelligence community agreeing on anything, you can rest pretty assured that it's been corroborated through multiple means, and I think it's important to recognize that our only means of collection or intelligence is not only cyber forensics, but we could arguably have other forms of collection and information as well. So my guess is maybe he is turning to Assange. Maybe there have been some private consultants who have advised otherwise. But to think that the intelligence community's only means of identifying who's behind that clickety-clack of the keyboard is through cyber means alone, I think is wrong. They've got other potential sources as well.
Frank, we know that Donald Trump will be briefed by senior intelligence folks on Friday. You've done these briefings before. What do you expect he'll hear? And do you think that his presidential daily brief will look something different than it did for President Obama?
You know, I think the briefs, by and large, are going to be the same. I mean, obviously, the presidential daily briefers tend to focus in on what the executive, he or she may be interested in and what their favorite format is and the like. But the information is going to be clearly the same information, and it's based on collection that has been gleaned through signals intelligence or through imagery or through human intelligence. And I don't see that changing at all because at the end of the day, that's agnostic to whoever's in office. What may change is the form or the format as to how a particular executive absorbs information and based on the questions they ask. So I don't see the actual briefing changing much, but maybe the form changes a bit.
Frank, Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill blasted the president-elect this morning on Twitter. I'm going to put up the tweet, what she wrote. "Intelligence community is the first line in our war against terror. The disrespect shown them by Trump is stunning. They're the best in the world. President-elect Trump will need to work closely with the intelligence community when he takes office." Is there a sense that the folks who do the job of protecting us here in the United States, they do that here, they do that abroad, not just those folks in the clandestine services, but those folks who are analysts, that they may feel that the president-elect does not have their back?
You know, that is a good question, and clearly that's something I think a lot of people are asking themselves. It still is early to tell. I mean, at the end of the day, even the intelligence community is not 100% right. At the end, they're estimators, not clairvoyants, but they are the best in the business. They are the best in the world. And ultimately that community needs to be shielded. They need to be able to make guesstimates and not always be 100% right. That's why I think when you have the entire community coming down in a similar finding, it's pretty clear cut that they feel like they've got more than enough evidence through corroborated means, through multiple sources to come to that conclusion.
Frank Salufo, thank you for joining us from Estonia.
Thank you, guys. Home to the first country attacked by none other than Russia through cyber means.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frank.